Hello, PokeMoshPit. Shofu here, bringing you a battle that I had a few days ago against my boy Alejandro, aka LatinoPandaExpress. And as you can see, my team is very snazzy. Yes, I love it. Now, let's get into it. I'm gonna lead with my Surrounded, expecting him to lead with his maybe his Ninetales instead of the Sun. So I thought I'd be able to trap it and kill it immediately. But he leads with a Choice Scarfed Gliscor, which actually gave me a bunch of problems because, as you can see, my team is ultra ground weak. Oh my gosh, I got like 4 dudes weak to ground moves. But he's going to switch into his Ludicolo as I switch into my Deoxys. I'm going to predict the Toxic, go into my Metroid, but he goes for the Leech Seed, which is also good for me because it's going to help me take out his Pokemon that much easier because I do have the Liquid Ooze ability, which means that he will be sucking poison into his mouth and dying slowly. So I'm going to take this opportunity to go for the Toxic Spikes because I can. He's going to switch back out to his Choice Scarfed Gliscor. I do not want to stay in because I know that an Earthquake from that thing will one-hit KO me. Seeing as how it's so early in the match, I know there's a high chance of him going for U-turn, but I'm going to switch out anyways because the risk is not worth the reward. I could die if he goes for Earthquake. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out to my Magic. And yes, indeed, he does go for Earthquake. So I'm going to be able to sub up on the switch as his Slippy Toad comes in. And unfortunately for me, I only got 1 layer of Toxic Spikes up on his side. So that is not going to be good for me because now his Politoed is only stage 1 poison and not stage 2. But since I am behind the sub, I know he's going to have to attack me, therefore giving me the opportunity to switch back into my Metroid to take the Ice Beam like it's nothing. And now I can set up my second layer of Toxic Spikes with no consequences. So this is very good. He's going to go ahead and switch out though. Switch out to a fucking Lombre. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? And yeah, that thing is a monster. Please trust me. That thing does not die. Because Rain Dish and because Leech Seed. Anyways. So, he switched his Lombre in for the sole purpose of being regular poisoned and not toxic poisoned. So that was a good move on his part because now his, he pretty much gave his Lombre the most survivability that it could possibly have. And, he's going to go ahead and go for the Scald as I go for the Hex. And Hex does nothing and Scald does nothing and he doesn't get the burn, so that's good. Now he's going to switch out, go to his Ninetales. I'm going to go for the Scald on the switch, just because I thought it might do more damage than Hex. Which makes no sense because he's water and grass type, so I don't know why I went for the Scald actually. But it does a decent amount to the QB even though it's the sun is out. And I am not scared of a Ninetales at all because Ninetales has terrible, awful, abysmal special attack. And I know that even if it has hidden power electric, it wouldn't do anything. And his hidden power isn't even super effective against me. So that damage that he just did, that critical hit, that is exactly how much a super effective hidden power would do to this Tentacruel. So this Tentacruel is not playing games with your freaking Ninetales. You're not impressing anybody. You're not a peacock. Why do you have so many tails? Get your shit and leave. Anyways, I'm gonna be proceeding to go for the Skulls and stuff, and trying to take this Ninetales out ASAP. And yeah, on this turn I decided to be cool and go for Rapid Spin because I thought he would die anyways. But he actually switches out and goes to a Sauce Buck. So, like, I don't know what's going on now. So, I don't get the Rapid Spin kill. I'm going to be forced to switch out because I know that thing gets freaking Wild Charge. And I go to my Deoxys to take whatever move it was going to use. And he does indeed go for the Wild Charge. So, I am going to take this hit. But I also know... Whoa, he gets a critical hit. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Nobody cares about that. Anyways, I know he is going to... those things do get Mega Horn. So, I'm going to be forced to switch out again. Basically, I'm going to keep switching and switching into Pokemon that can take his hits until he dies from poison damage. So I went to my Siamese to take the Mega Horn, and now I'm going to predict the high jump kick and go out to my Magic to take the high jump kick. But he has Nature Power Earthquake. I did not see that coming for 1,000. Like, if I've been playing Pokemon for 1,000 years, I would never even think of seeing that ever. So I thought he would predict my Magnezone to come back in, which is why I stayed in with my Magic and went for Substitute, but he actually goes for the Mega Horn and it does a lot. Doesn't kill me, but it does a lot. And he does just over the amount of HP that I needed to make a Substitute. Just over it. I was really mad, but not really. So, I could switch out to my Tentacruel even though he brought in his Politoed, but I went for the Leech Seed just so I could bring in the boss of all bosses. Yes, no other than Pika. Bitch! Yeah. And of course he's going to switch out. He's scared of Pikachu. Duh, who would not be scared of Pikachu? So he brings out his Raikou, probably predicting the electric attack. I'm going to go for the substitute. And yeah, you guys should already know what's going to happen right now. Yeah, basically back up from your computers, turn the speakers down a little bit because this Raikou is about to
Pikachu!
So as you can see, his Raikou gets freaking demolished by a Pikachu. Okay, not really, not really. The focus punch is like 70%, but you know, it's Pikachu. What else could I ask for, Pikachu? Good job. The Killer Nacho would be pissed right now. Anyways, so knowing that he's locked in the Weather Ball and that he's in the rain, I know that, one, he's the event Raikou that was given away a while back, so I know that he is Rash Nature. And number two, I know that his Weather Ball is a Water-type move since he was in the rain. So I'm going to switch it to my Metroid to take the Water-type Weather Ball, of course, as he switches out to his freaking, wow, I can't believe I forgot Ninetales' name for a second. I should have went for Rapid Spin there so I can get the Rapid Spin kill for cool points, but I messed up. So now he brings in his Gliscor, and this is when I realized that letting my Jumpluff die was a huge fat-ass mistake, because now everything on my team is one-hit KO'd by Earthquake except for my Deoxys. And I couldn't afford to bring in my Deoxys on the Earthquake, otherwise I would have got 2-hit KO'd. So I'm going to bring him out now. After my Tentacruel dies, so I'm going to go for the Recover as he switches out to his Politoed. I really have no choice but to stay in here. I was thinking about switching out to my Pikachu, but I don't want anything else on my team to get hit because I don't like. Okay, first of all, I have Pikachu left and I have Dugtrio left. Two Pokemon that are super frail and will die to one hit of any of his Pokemon. So I'm pretty much forced to stay in here as he goes for the Toxic, and I hit him with a weak-ass Thunderbolt that did absolutely nothing. So now I'm going to switch out, which I actually should have done before letting him poison me, because that might be bad. So I'm going to go out to my Surrounded, and he actually switches out, which is good for me, but not really, because he brings in his Lombre, which has the Evo Stone, or the Eviolite, as I should say. And because he has the Eviolite, I'm not going to be able to take him out with a Choice Banded Aerial Ace like I would have been able to if he didn't have the Eviolite. So that kind of sucks for me, but not really, because he is going to die to the poison. And now I'm just going to go out to my Deoxys because I really don't know what he's going to go out to. And depending on what he goes out to, this could be a good or a bad switch. But unfortunately for me, he goes out to his Raikou, which is indeed Choice Spec. So I'm going to be forced to switch out and go to my Magnezone, which I do still have. And Siamese should be able to take the Thunder quite well, but not really, because it is a Choice Spec Thunder from a Raikou. And it actually does a lot of fucking damage. Holy balls, that did a lot. Easy to KO, but luckily for me, he does die from the poison. So I'm gonna have to let my Siamese die here because I can't afford to let my Deoxys take a hit when it doesn't have to. So as you can see, I let my Siamese die. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my Deoxys. I'm gonna go straight for the Ice Beam just in case he stayed in. I pretty much knew he would have to switch out, but I had to go for Ice Beam just in case, because if I'd gone for Thunderbolt, that could have been problematic. And he does indeed switch out to a Slippy Toad, and I am going to be forced to switch out as well, because I don't want to take any damage from this thing, especially when I don't have to. So I'm going to go out to my Pika, bitch! And fortunately for me, he goes for the Protect, so that was kind of a bad play on his part. That probably lost in the game, actually, because now I am free to set up a substitute and proceed to do some damage. So I go for the substitute. I would either have stalled his Politoed out or maybe gotten a hit on this Gliscor. Now here I make a bad move. I knew he was going to go for U-turn, but I still went for the Hidden Power Ice anyways, just because it would just make things that much easier if he actually stayed in to take the hit from the HP Ice. But Alex is not that bad, so he actually predicts me to go for the HP Ice and goes for the U-turn. So now I'm going to be free to set up substitutes because I don't really have to do anything else with Pikachu. All I have to do is make sure that my Pikachu is alive while his Politoed is dead. So because of that, I'm going to be setting up substitutes until he dies. He has like 5 HP left, so one more substitute should in fact give me the opportunity to be alive while he's dead. So that is good for me. And his last Pokemon after his Politoed dies is actually his Gliscor. So it's my Deoxys and my Pikachu versus his Gliscor. My Pikachu's obviously going to die from the Earthquake. So now it's just my Deoxys. And my Deoxys does indeed have Ice Beam, and this is one of the only times that I am happy that my Deoxys has Ice Beam instead of Psychic. Because normally I get screwed by Root-pushing, Machamp was my ass. That's pretty much it. Those are the only two fighting types that beat me. But yeah, good battle, Alex. I'm going to finish him off with the Ice Beam, and that will be a good game. So check my channel out. I am Shofu. Check his channel out. He's LatinoPandaExpress. And I can't talk right now because I've been narrating for like 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm on that serve right now. Anyways, see you guys later. Deuces.